this. Now, we know right now they're creating the problem because they're killing us. They're reacting to what the devil knows is coming and he's killing us. So we can defend ourselves when they're trying to kill us. We're not going to just let them kill us. But in order for our defense to be successful, we have to fast and pray the way they did in Esther. Remember, he said for 3 days they fasted and prayed, and the Most High turned the captivity, turned the thing around. They were still captive in the enemy's land. But soon after that came Ezra, and then later Nehemiah back to return to where, to the Jerusalem, according to the prophecy, the 7th year, and start to rebuild again, right? But what I'm saying to y'all is that we're in our heathen, in our enemy's land. We're in captivity right now. Let us stay cool and seek the righteousness of Yah. Defend ourselves against the murderers. We're not supposed to just let them come up and kill us. Okay? Marching ain't going to do it. We got to be protective of ourselves. And I ask you, pray to Yah and be, as he said, as Messiah said, wise as serpents and harmless as doves. I'm not blaming Brother Aubrey for being murdered. That's not his fault. But we got to be cool. You can't just run through a Caucasian clan neighborhood and expect to be protected, especially you don't know who you are and they understand who you are and they want to kill you. You got to be cool. Okay? And again, I'm not blaming him. It's the heathen fault, no question. But I'm just trying to say, let us seek the righteousness of Yah. Let us turn back to his commandments. He will send angels to protect us, and we got to be wise to protect ourselves. We're not going to just let them kill us, but we're not going to just try to start mess with them. We're not going to try to blow anything up like zealots. Even though that's what we feel like doing, I admit it. Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't that I believed in the righteousness of Yah and his spirit, I'd be dead already. I would, because I would go out and do things that would get me killed, but there'd be some of them coming with me. But I'm not going to do that. The reason I'm not going to do that is because my commander's word says I need his spirit. Stay cool. That's staying cool in the midst of a hectic situation. Most people don't understand. That's what's called meekness. Staying cool in a hectic situation. It's called meekness. And the Bible says the meek shall inherit the earth. That's us. We've been meek in this country for 400 years. I heard one sister say, they lucky when she said that we want equality and not vengeance. But she didn't understand that, dear sister, is that we're going to get vengeance. Not worry about equality. They're not going to give us that. They didn't bring us over here and change for us to be equal with them. They're not giving us that. The oppressor never gives willingly up their power. Never in history. The oppressor never willingly gives up their power. They have to be destroyed. Power has to be taken from them. And that's what Messiah is going to do. But for us right now, we need power. We need power. Not power we're going to get through their government and their political system. Power that comes from the government of heaven. Power that comes with Yah's spirit. We need that power. And that's what he's telling us to seek right now. Power. Real power. That's going to overthrow this whole system. But we need to stay cool and seek the power. Okay? Let's continue reading here. So he said, seek the peace of the city that I caused you to be carried captives in. I caused you to be carried captives because you worship other gods. We have to acknowledge our fathers and us have been worshiping other gods. That's why we're in this situation. We've been worshiping other gods. The white Jesus is another God. He wants us to return to Yah, who made a covenant in blood with our fathers. It came not, but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. His first inclination was not to save Gentiles, it's to save us. And through us, save the Gentiles. We're going to read about that in a moment too. But let's continue here first in Jeremiah 29. For verse 8, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye cause to be dreamed, for they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith Yahweh. For thus saith Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you, and causing you return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. That ain't changed. Now, the time period has changed. It ain't 70 years no more. I mean, just in America, we've been in this problem for more than 400 years. That's not even including the peoples on like the island of Jamaica or the island of Haiti who still getting spanked, and then peoples in Brazil and in South America and Hebrews all over the earth. We've been in this thing way more than 400 years. It's just 400 years in this hot spot called America, which is the image to the beast. It's 400 years here. But it's more than 400 years for our brethren all over the earth. Okay? So it's more than 70 years, but it's the same result. The difference this time, though, is he's waiting for us to be awakened. When my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Most High have driven thee, and shalt return to Yah the Most High, and shalt obey his voice with all thy heart, with all thy soul, thou and thy children, that then I will turn the captivity. See, the awakening is the sign at the end of the captivity. Like I said, we're in the transition period. We were being oppressed and exploited because of the sins of us and the sins of our fathers. And we're about to enter into a period in a very short time. I say within 12 years, we're going to enter a period where we're the dominant ones, where the kingdom belongs to us, where everybody's going to come to us asking for favors. And we're in the transition. The transition period that we're in right now is the awakening time. It's the time of the seal of the Spirit of the Father. It's the time of the preparation to receive that kingdom. Okay, we're in there right now. And it's going to get more intense as we get closer. Obviously, it's going to get more intense. Okay, and we're being prepared for that right now. Okay, right? Wait, I told you that he got a word for the heathen. Jeremiah, same Jeremiah, while we here, Jeremiah chapter 12. Yes, Jeremiah chapter 12. Watch this. I was just reading this morning in my daily devotion. Jeremiah chapter 12. And it's apropos. I believe it's no accident I came across it today. But notice Jeremiah chapter 12. This is what he got to say to the heathen, the Gentiles that have had us in captivity all these centuries. Watch what he says here. I'm going to begin at verse 14 of Jeremiah 12 and go down to verse 17. Jeremiah chapter 12, 14 to 17. Notice what it says. For thus saith Yahweh against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance, that's us, which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them, that is us, out of their land, that is out of the heathen land. I will pluck them, I'll pluck you Israelites, out of the heathen land, and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. Okay? And it shall come to pass after that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass, watch this, if they, that is the heathen, will diligently learn the ways of my people. Let me say that again. If they, that is the heathen, will diligently learn the ways of my people, that is the ways of the Israelite. If the heathen submit to learn the ways of the Israelite, that's what he's saying. Not us needing some Caucasian man to lead us anywhere or to fund us with money. No, it's Israelite prophets leading and having heathen come to them. As it says in Zechariah, 10 men shall come out of all languages and grab the skirt of him that's a Jew and say, we will go with you, for we have heard that Yah is with you. That's what he's looking for among the heathen that's going to be saved. Why? And we already know. If you're in America, you already know. How many of them going to do that? Not many. There's going to be some, but not many. That's why most of them going to be destroyed, because they have to diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, Yahweh liveth, or Yah liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal. The white man they call Lord. The white man they call Lord. The so-called white man, they call him Lord. That's Baal. See, you taught my people to swear by Baal. Now, like you did that, you learn Yah from my people. Then shall they, that is the heathen, be built in the midst of my people. So if you want to be saved, you better go find you a Hebrew and ask that Hebrew about the truth. Go find you a Hebrew teacher and ask that Hebrew teacher the truth and follow that truth. Surrender yourself to the Hebrew teacher. That's the ordination right here. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, saith Yahweh. If they will not obey. So you want to keep worshiping your white Jesus? You think because you're middle class and you getting these greenbacks and this credit, you all good? Enjoy it. I say to them, enjoy it. You ain't got centuries left. You got less than 12 years left. You ain't got decades, more than one left. You ain't got a score of years left. You ain't got a fortnight in years left. Enjoy it. You at your end right now. See, that's why, by the grace of the Spirit of the Most High, I can be meek and not go out and try to kill every one last one of these. I could be meek and cool. Because I know we're at the end, man. And you know what? 10, 12 years, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. We in 2020. It seemed like 9/11. I remember that day like it was yesterday, and that was 19 years ago. 19 years ago. It's like that. 10, 12 years. That's all this is going to last, brothers and sisters. And it ain't nothing. Let them enjoy. Let them continue to exploit, print their money, their trillions, and hook up their buddies. Let Bezos do his thing. Let your boy, what's his name? Your boy from Microsoft, Bill Gates, let him try to put him little injections in us and try to kill us and control. Let them try all their games. It ain't worked so far. We still here. Our population has doubled in the last 50 years. It's doubled. They can't diminish us. They try. They try. But the Most High has us in his hand. It's obvious. Look, if you had treated any other people the way we've been treated, it's just in America, the way they kill our males, lock us up, starve us, torture us, murder us, we'd be gone already. But no, we still here. That's a miracle. That's a miracle of the Most High because he has ordained us to be his chosen. We ain't going nowhere. So I say to the heathen, enjoy your money. Enjoy your fancy cars. Enjoy your fame and fortune. Enjoy your white privilege. Enjoy it. You ain't got much time left. And I praise y'all. I am looking forward to that day when he puts an end to this system. Revelation. So the George Floyd situation, along with the Ahmaud Arbery situation, the Breonna Taylor situation, the Eric Garner situation, the Trayvon Martin situation, and many, 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 many others. These situations are now causing the world to take notice. And if you're paying attention, like I said, I'm almost 60 years old, so I've seen this game before. I was old enough. I remember where I was when Martin Luther King was murdered. I remember where I was when he was assassinated. I remember it. I was in my house. We had an old stereo. Then it was considered new with a big black and white TV. And I was listening to the radio in New York. We from New York, it's WBLS. I'm listening to WBLS or Frankie Crocker. I was listening. Then all of a sudden, thing came through. Martin Luther King has been assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. At that time, I was 6 years old. And I was not yet turned 7. I was 6 years old at that time. It was in the springtime, 68. And at 6 years old, I remember I was in shock. I was 6, but I was in shock. And for a second, I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. I was just standing there, and I was standing before the radio, and I walked to the front window of the house. There was a window in the front, and I just looked out the window. And as I looked out the window, I saw, because at that time, I was in an all black neighborhood and people were just coming out of their houses and you could hear women crying. They were touching each other and everybody was hugging, trying to comfort each other. I remember that day like it was yesterday. See? And brothers and sisters, we're getting ready to put all of that, getting ready to come to an end. The heathen's not going to get away with that no more. So now we are realizing peaceful demonstrations, marches don't work, organizing into our own political parties like the Black Panthers did, that don't work. Seeking black power like Kwame Ture did, that don't work. Why? Because the way has been ordained from the Creator. It's the way of righteousness. It's the way of His truth. It's history as Yah has written it, which is prophecy. And now there are many people realizing that these things have not worked for us. And they know now they can't turn to their Baptist church or their SDA church or their Pentecostal church and these, or even unfortunately, some Hebrews are running into these cults like the Mormons. They know that's not helping. There's no peace in them places because there's no truth there. There's no truth in white Jesus. It's not there. You won't get everlasting peace from that. And you certainly are not going to get power to overcome your sin, power to walk through the wilderness with no food and no drink and be provided for. You're not going to get it from them churches. And people are realizing that. And that's why now He's raised up people like myself to say to y'all, Revelation chapter 14, the first angel's message, beginning at verse 6. And it's not just me. There are many others. We're scattered. That's preaching this truth. We're not all in one place. We scattered. It's going to be like that until we stand on the sea of glass, singing the song of Moses and the Lamb. Okay, then we'll all be together. We'll enter the kingdom together. But until that time, we scattered all over the earth. And there's a purpose in that. Remember, we're the salt of the earth. We're the salt of the earth. Salt brings flavor. And the Hebrews have always brought the flavor. But it's going to be more so now. Okay? Revelation chapter 14, verse 6 and 7. Revelation chapter 14, verse 6 and 7. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear Yah, and give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment is come, and worship Him that made heaven and earth, the sea, and the fountains of waters. Fear Yah. It says in the King James, fear God. But as we who are awakened understand, the Most High's name is not God. That's what they call Baal. We know His name is Yah. Fear Yah and give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment is come. Why do we know that? The awakening of the Hebrew is the hour of the judgment. Because the awakening is the death knell. It's the time of the Gentiles being fulfilled. The awakening is the preparation for the seal. The everlasting gospel is the message of righteousness. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Messiah, for it is the power of Yah unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of Yah revealed from faith to faith. By the power of Yah, through His Spirit, His righteousness is revealed. He told the Hebrews in the book of Hebrew, this is milk. Y'all should know this, he said. He was teaching that to the Gentiles because they wouldn't know. But see, we've been so brainwashed in these last days that we also have to get back to the milk. Perfect righteousness causes us to overcome all sin. Perfect righteousness causes us to be obedient to Yah's covenant that was made with our fathers in blood. And don't make no mistake, he's expecting obedience. But Yah does not expect anything from his people that he doesn't supply the power to accomplish. When he told Moses, stretch your rod out, he gave Moses power through that rod to separate the Red Sea. See, he didn't tell him to stretch the rod out and make it happen yourself. He knew what he was going to do. Okay. When Messiah told that man that was by the pool and couldn't get in, rise up, take up your bed and walk. He gave him power to do that. He didn't just tell him to get up and make fun of him because he couldn't get up, because he was crippled. He gave that man power at that time. When he spoke the word, there was power. He's trying to equip us with that power. That's the everlasting gospel. That's it. You ain't going to get this from no Christian church. Nowhere. If a Christian church could preach that, what I just told you, they would repent of even being a Christian church. Because the organization, institution of the Christian church is a false god. They would repent and they would just abolish their Christian church and they would all become Israelites, either grafted in or by blood. And they would repent, because once Yah gives you power, you cannot assign any glory to anything, person, or entity but Yah. That means you can't be an SDA church and still give glory to Yah, because you're splitting your glory. You can't be a Mormon church and still give glory to Yah. You're splitting your glory between your church and the Father. He's not taking no shorts. He said, I'm not sharing my glory with anything. When you're an Israelite, there is no denomination. We're a scattered people in captivity, and we give all glory to the Most High himself through the Messiah. This is the first angel's message. Okay? Now, Revelation 13 shows an image. And this is what the last thing we're going to go on to today. It shows an image. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to let you know, we talked about history repeating itself. First, so let's go to Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3, because Daniel 3 is Revelation 13. At the end, the last part with the image of the beast and the mark, that's Daniel 3. Most people don't recognize it, but it's the same thing. Daniel chapter 3. And that's why we praise Yah. He shows us. History repeats itself. You want to know what's getting ready to happen? Just look at what already happened. Isn't that what the Bible says in Ecclesiastes? Isn't that what the Spirit told Solomon? There's nothing new. What you've seen before is going to happen again. And what happens now has been done already. This is true. In Daniel 3, let's start at verse 1. I'm going to start at verse 1, and I'm going to go from verse 1 down to verse 6. Daniel chapter 3, 1 to 6. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image. There's an image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, that ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship it, the same shall at the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Now, Nebuchadnezzar set it up. He's the beast. He set up an image to the beast. And he commanded all the people to worship the image. That's Revelation 13. So in worshiping the image, you're giving glory to Nebuchadnezzar. Let's continue. Let's start Daniel chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 10 and read from verse 10 to verse 17. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, should fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Now there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same out into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? I like to call Abednego something else. Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. One more, verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image that you set up. And we know what happened. Messiah came and delivered them. Messiah came and delivered them. Why? Because at this point, this image affected his chosen people. And that's why he got involved. His chosen people refused to worship other gods. Now, we're in a situation now in Revelation 13. There's no one king Nebuchadnezzar. There's a system. It's the beast system, the Roman Catholic system of Christianity. The image to the beast is in the United States of America. It's the so-called Protestant evangelical system, just like the Roman Catholic system is combining church and state together. Whoever worships in this system is worshiping another God. As we are awakening, we will not worship that image. We're worshiping Yah. It's going to come to a point where you're going to be under suspicion. Again, we've seen this recently. In 2001, after 9/11, any person that was going into a mosque was under suspicion. Y'all should notice if you was around that time, if you was half an adult, even if you was a teenager. Any person that was going into a mosque after 9/11 was under suspicion, even to this very day. Matter of fact, one of my brothers and sisters that I grew up with from little, his sister married a Muslim. Now, we're from New York, but they was in Texas at this time, 2002. Sister was converted to Islam with this brother down there. They had like 5 or 6 children. Brother was getting ready to go to work. On the highway, on his way to work, somebody shot a high-powered rifle and murdered him. They never found out who did it. Why did they murder him? Because he was a Muslim. The same thing's going to happen to the Israelites. You get this whole situation with COVID-19 and the awakening so-called from the heathen about the murders of black men. This is going to end up in martial law. That's how it's going to end up. Stricter martial law. You know, they call it for the disbandment of the police things. You're going to see a religious revival among the false churches of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. You're going to see a religious revival. And this revival is going, and then for our protection, because they're going to have false flag operations that bring violence, because we know the heathen are violent, and they're going to create a false flag operations, several of them, that cause them to have to protect us, and they're going to bring martial law in. And then the Israelites that are not part of any of these established churches that are talking about a God of heaven that's going to establish his own government and kingdom, we're going to be suspect. And we're not going to worship the image to the beast. We're not going to be in these situations. All of these are false gods, like Nebuchadnezzar's image. And eventually they're going to want to kill us. That's when the second angel makes his announcement. Babylon is fallen. That's in the second. And 144,000 at that time will give the warning message as we are seeing this pressure build up on us. They would not at that time yet tell us they're going to kill us or that we can't buy ourselves, but it's going to be on the way. And as that heat is coming, it squeezes out of us the power of Yah's words. And we bring it and we proclaim Babylon is fallen. Why? Because you're bringing your heathen stuff to the chosen people and you're trying to force them to worship in your heathen ways. That's when you're finished. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. Okay? So that's why I'm saying to y'all, don't get in these petty arguments whether the world is round or flat. Don't cause anyone to get your mind off of the focus. The focus is on perfection of righteousness. The focus is for us to keep the commandments of Yah by the power of the true gospel of his spirit of righteousness that caused his righteousness to be revealed in us. That's what we're preparing for. The situation is going to get worse. Don't get fooled by all this Black Lives Matter marching and all this hurrah about it. It's the prelude to something worse that's coming. Just remember, brothers and sisters, the DOS, the descendants of slaves, were not brought here to be Americans. The heathen will never allow us to be equal with them. Because if we actually had all the money and influence of the heathen, we really would kill them all. That's just human nature. We wouldn't live at peace with them. The only ones living at peace with them or talking peace are the hand-plucked Uncle Toms and sell-out bourgeois class that's living on their level. Those of us on the ground level, if we was to all of a sudden get power over them, they would have a problem. And they know that. But the Most High is now calling us not to revenge. He's calling us because he said vengeance belongs to him. We're going to be in Messiah's army, just like when Joshua was sitting on that hill and Messiah showed up with his sword drawn and said, as captain of the host of Yahweh, am I now come? That's the one they got to worry about. And we're going to fight behind him, and they're going to have a problem. But at this time, this is the preparation. This is the time right before that where they all got circumcised. We need to be circumcised in heart. They got circumcised in preparation to take the kingdom. Their fathers had fell. He had already taken the rebels from among them. And they were prepared now and circumcised and ready. We need to be circumcised in our hearts. We need the spirit of righteousness to take possession of us. We're in that time right now. This is the time to get it. This is the time. Okay? This is the time. May the Most High bless you to be sealed with the spirit of perfect righteousness and be prepared against the time just ahead of us. May we all stand on the sea of glass together. Amen.